Support for Steppin Out comes in part from the Kristovich family in honor of Mary Lou and Bill Kristovich. And by New Orleans Tourism Marketing Corporation, New Orleans, where stories are created. This program is sponsored in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support the arts and culture in the greater New Orleans area.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, Poppy Tooker, host of the radio program Louisiana Eats, airing twice weekly on WWNO Radio. Hello, my dear.
Hello, Peggy.
Hey there. Hi. So glad to have him, trumpeter and band leader Clive Wilson, who will be discussing his brand new memoir called Time of My Life. Welcome, Clive.
Thank you, Peggy.
Nice to see you. Hello, dear. And Alan Smason, the one and only of theatercriticism.com. Great to see you, sir. And later on, we've got, of course, the pianist and singer Uncle Wayne Daigrepont dropping by for a visit. And we'll chat with the producers of the new Calico Club Cabaret. But first up, Poppy.
Well, you know, there's a little party going on downtown. I don't know if you noticed, but it's French Quarter Fest. And so I just wanted to give everybody a little food heads up. There's some new vendors, and in particular of note, Risotto's Ristorante has meatball sliders and shrimp fra diavolo. That's new. There's a new business, Sweet Handcraft, warmed ice cream donut sandwiches or French macaroon ice cream sandwiches. I love that guy with We Dat Chicken. He's down there for the first time. 14 Parishes has a new dish this year, jerk pork shoulder sandwich, which really sounds delicious. And then, of course, I have to give a shout out from day one of the French Quarter Fest. Tujax is, of course, right there in the square, serving their traditional brisket, marinated crab claws, but only available during French Quarter Festival is Miss Brenda's Seafood Stuffed Melon. The recipe's in the book. That's how I learned to love it, by cooking it when I wrote the cookbook. It's delicious. Go see my buddy Mark Ladder. Then, you know, Easter is coming right around the corner. So next weekend, there's some big things that you need to get ready for. The Easter Keg Hunt, benefiting Healthy Gulf. Now, the Gulf Restoration Network has had a rebranding, so this is who Healthy Gulf is. They and NOLA Brewing are teaming up for the 10th year in a row to bring you a very, shall I say, egg-citing scavenger hunt and pub run across Uptown. It starts at 2 o'clock at the Chop Yard, and then you follow a series of clues, and then you end up with free NOLA beer and live music at NOLA Brewing by the Revealers. So get your team together. You've got time to plan now. Put on your best costumes, and tickets are just $20. There's all sorts of prizes. So anyway, right around the time that ends, at 7 o'clock, in your costume, make sure there's bunny ears, continue on over to the Bunny Hops, which is a new event at City Park's Carousel Gardens. This is an adult Easter egg hunt in Storyland, and inside the eggs, the prizes are going to include events, tickets, candy, and alcohol. And there's a best bunny ears costume contest. There's open beer bars, fried catfish, fries, and Jello shots. And now, a new restaurant just opened up on Chapatula. It's called Barracuda. I just love these ambitious things these very young people are putting together. Founder Brett Jones has opened up this modern taco stand with fresh tortillas, very rare, and a margarita garden. This is, you can have a quick backyard party by the river, chips and dips, all-day breakfast options that are also available as bowls and quesadillas. Their tacos are things like chicken with achiote and citrus adobo, onion and cilantro. There's crispy wild catfish tacos and rotating seasonal vegetarian farmers market tacos. Oh my goodness, but the beverages are out of this world. There's a fresh curated beverage list of agua frescas, horchata. Oh, is that delicious? Limeade, tepache, Mexican and craft beer, wine, and house-made margaritas made with fresh lime juice on tap. They're open every day but Monday, Tuesday and Friday, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, they're open at 9 a.m. and Saturday they close at 9 p.m. Sunday they close at 3. But Peggy, you've got to go check this out because it's on Tchoupitoulas and it's on the riverside of Tchoupitoulas. So their backyard party is kind of riverside in a way.
Right.
It's
We like
very
that.
interesting and delicious.
All right, thank you, Poppy. And I am so glad to see Clive. We run into each other, and I consider you my friend also at jazz events, traditional jazz events, and anybody who's a traditional jazz lover of New Orleans knows Clive Wilson, and not only as a trumpeter, but also as a band leader. But you are one of the folks, Lars Ettergren, of course, too, and a few others, who came for the music in
Yes.
the 1970s and left and then came back to live here. How long have you been here altogether?
Oh, altogether about 52 years. So came in the mid-60s.
Excuse me, first mid-60s, right, and came to live here full time. I am so glad you have these wonderful anecdotes, and not everybody you can play music, but you can also write, Clive. and just talking about some of the wonderful people that you got to know, like Punch Miller, the amazing trumpet player, and you actually got a music lesson from him, didn't you?
Yes. My first trumpet lesson here was with Punch Miller.
And this was somebody who was truly a star from the 20s on, huh?
Yeah.
And traveled nationally.
Yes, he was famous from the 1920s, yeah.
And then, of course, Jeanette Kimball, who was a wonderful pianist, and quite a few New Orleans female pianists, like Sweet Emma and the Belle Gal. But Jeanette, what a great picture of her. But you learn from each of the people that you meet, don't you?
Oh, yes. Jeanette was actually my favorite piano player. And we got to know each other really well, over the years, because I started, used to hear her at Dixieland Hall, and then I joined Papa French's original Tuxedo Jazz Band in the 1970s, and she was the piano player. And she joined Papa Celestin in 1926. So it was like having a history music lesson all at once.
And then Dave Fat Man Williams, as he was called. That's another fine pianist that you got to know too. You've got a lot of great photos in the book, and a lot of them you took, huh?
A lot of them
are from your collection.
Yeah,
as well.
people gave them to me.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. But Bill Russell, of course, who not only was a jazz historian, but a wonderful violinist and quite the jazz historian too. That combination.
Oh.
But I just love the stories that you tell. Also, Percy Humphrey. It goes on and on. And of course, you remember Buster Holmes getting the red beans there.
Yes, Buster was. Well, in those days, I was living on whatever I could make, per week or per day, and Buster had this red beans and rice for 26 cents, and of course that was our budget. I couldn't afford to buy the pork chop and hot sausage very often, but there was nothing like it, and the friendliness that you found.
And so open
right there.
and willing to share.
People were so friendly and took you right in and showed you around.
And I love that you also talk about the Bourbon House in reference to Joanne Clevenger, who's still with us, of course, and very active with the Upper Line. But someone else, and I'm so glad you remember her, is Barbara Reed, who was a pioneer of the Preservation Hall. I mean, there are folks in Dick Allen, of course. We need to remember them, and you do.
Yeah, there's a whole chapter on Barbara Reed. I didn't meet her until 1970, but...
And your buddy, Tom Sankton, also did the foreword to this.
Tommy and I began learning to play together in the 60s. He was a teenager in high school.
In high school, he was a little bit younger. Now, you're going to be busy. You're going to be playing this weekend at the French Quarter Festival.
Yes.
And so it will be showing when and where and all that good stuff. And then the big thing, though, is you've also got your book signing coming up next week at Octavia. And there'll be music, right?
Yes. Octavia Books on Tuesday, April 16th. That's Tuesday next week. And Tom Sankton Trio is going to play. which is great of them. And we'll launch the book on that day.
Sounds good. Now, you also have a website for more information?
Yes, that's www.clivewilsonmusic.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no rest for the weary, because not only, of course, it's not like, well, gee, I did this in my retirement. You still play actively. You're all over town.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Very
I hope
good.
so.
And if somebody wants to contact you, you can go to they can go to your website too,
Yes,
right?
yeah, and they can get my telephone number from that.
Okay, good, because you're playing. So that's the very important thing. And congratulations, though.
Thank you, Peggy.
Yeah. New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Philip Walter, hello, Philip Walter, told us what local performer sang a song in 1964, which was also performed by the Rolling Stones, Irma Thomas, of course, and the song is Time Is On My Side. Now tonight's question, honoring French Quarter Festival. 4 streets in the quarter have the names of saints. What are they? Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes: a year subscription to Louisiana Life magazine, a dish towel with the message "Love the wine you're with" from our friends at Wearable Vegetables, and a $25 gift certificate from our friends at Kitchen Witch Cookbooks. That's a sweet little shop on Bayou Road right off North Broad. You can go to WYES.org for our online calendar, including the Piety Market tomorrow, and that is at the New Orleans Healing Center. You can also link to our WYES YouTube channel to see our program. Earlier today, producers Jane Albright and Paul Bello gave us the scoop about their new monthly Calico Club Cabaret night at the Little Gem Saloon. And we'll also hear from their MC, Uncle Wayne Daigrepont. We are going to be on a monthly basis stepping back in time with the Calico Club Cabaret, and producing it, Jane Albright and Paul Bello. So once a month at of course, the Little Gem Saloon right there downtown. Tell us about what we can expect.
Well, Jane and I put together this 1940s New York-style cabaret supper club. You can expect a 12-piece big band playing 1940 swing, the Pat Barbaro Orchestra led by Brian Barbaro.
The famous Pat Barbaro Orchestra, yes, yes.
And they've been swinging for 80 years. We've got variety acts in between the set breaks, all knit together by our very able MC, Uncle Wayne Daigrepont.
Now, it's also a bit of a supper club, too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Whenever you come to the show, you have your own table where you're free to purchase drinks or dinner and chat or dance throughout the show.
I love that room, though. It's called the Ramp Room, and it's upstairs in the Little Gem. But that's at the corner of the most amazing location of Poydras and Rampart Street, and really an area that had lots of jazz a long time ago, and they're trying to revitalize it too, aren't they? It's a really pretty space.
You know, we're really so thankful to Nick Bazan for bringing that place up. I mean, we're doing the show in the same room that Buddy Bolden performed in, just down the street from where Louis Armstrong bought his first trumpet. I mean, can you imagine the chills it gives us to be in that room? And he's such a supporter of music and just bringing back that jazz corridor that's not just famous to New Orleans, it's famous to the entire world. It was the place where American classical music was born.
Absolutely. So this mix of music and maybe some comedy and satire and just all of that coming together. Huh?
Well, who do we have, Jane?
We have a comedian.
Yeah.
We have
Vincent Zambone.
Yeah, we have the Liquid Rhythm Dancers who are going to be doing a salsa number for us. And we also have Abby White who will be singing opera.
Okay, so tell us about Uncle Wayne. Now, we've got Uncle Wayne who's going to play for us tonight. He's your MC.
Uncle Wayne's our MC, and Uncle Wayne just fulfills his duties as MC wonderfully. He keeps the audience engaged. He keeps the audience entertained, and our concept for this show is that it's 2.5 hours of continuous entertainment. There's never a dull moment. You're either out there with your honey dancing, or you're being entertained by variety acts and Uncle Wayne, and he keeps the flow going. When the band takes a break, he moves the variety acts in. keeps the audience entertained when they're set, and it just flows effortlessly, largely due to his efforts.
Okay, great. And you all have a Facebook page, or how can we learn more
Yes,
about it?
ma'am. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/Calico Club Cabaret.
Okay, so April 20th, so a week from this weekend, okay, April 20th. Let's tune into that. And now, though, we're going to get a little taste from Uncle Wayne with some Gershwin and some cabaret. Take it away, Uncle Wayne.
What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Come to the Calico, my friend. That is the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book, and the broom. It's time for a holiday. Come to the Calico, my friend. That's Calico Cabaret, my friend. So come to the cabaret.
The Calico Club Cabaret takes place next Saturday night, April 20th at the Little Gem Saloon. Visit the website on your screen to purchase tickets. And now it is time for our Artist Spotlight. Tonight we are featuring the artwork of renowned glass artist Dale Chihuly. This is a Clarion burgundy chandelier. Wow. With a career spanning over 5 decades, Chihuly has been credited with revolutionizing the studio glass movement. This is Copper Ruby Persian Wall. Chihuly's newest exhibit is on view now until June 22nd at the Arthur Roger Gallery on Julia Street. Visit the gallery's website for more info. And now, Alan.
Well, you know, there's still plenty of theater out there this week that's closing, though, so keep note of the Amazing Azul at Southern Rep, and also with full orchestra and delightful singing, South Pacific. I know, Peggy, you're going to get to see that at the Jefferson Performing Arts Center. Both are closing this week, but meanwhile, another Rodgers and Hammerstein classic is opening, and that, of course, is Cinderella. Cinderella was, of course, a live TV show that starred Julie Andrews back in 1957, about 62 years and 2 weeks ago by my reckoning. It was in March of 57 when she performed, and she was still in My Fair Lady, believe it or not, doing both of those things at the same time. Leslie Ann Warren, you may remember, also performed in the title role in Living Color in 1965, and some of the more younger set may remember when Brandy starred opposite Whitney Houston in 1997. Then in 2013, it opened for the first time on Broadway. Never had been on Broadway before at the Winter Garden, and it had a new book by Douglas Carter Bean starring Laura Osnes and Santino Fontana. Now, that name, Santino Fontana, you keep that in mind. He was just in Hello, Dolly, and of course is now going to be starring as the lead in Tootsie. We're going to look for him as well. Dorothy Michaels on the way. The touring company will be here through Sunday. It has some really lovely Rodgers and Hammerstein music. 10 minutes
music
ago.
is gorgeous.
Do I Love You Because you know, you're beautiful. And there's also that fun song that the fairy godmother sings with Cinderella, Impossible, It's Possible. Again, please check it out if you get a chance. That's at the Sanger Theater, and again, just this weekend. Interestingly, Cinderella is a non-equity show at the Sanger, which is unusual for them. Sometimes that means that it doesn't have the best of performances, and sometimes the performances are akin to what you'll get on Broadway. But at the same time this weekend at the Mahalia Jackson Performing Arts Theater, there's the equity show of Lightning Thief, the Percy Jackson musical. Now, this is, of course, based on the Percy Reardon books, similar to Harry Potter, young people's novels. The Lightning Thief was the first of the series. They've made a movie out of it. Now they've made a musical, and this is going to be at the Mahalia Jackson Theater. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't give you an idea about it, but it is supposed to be very exciting. And again, it is an equity show. Keep that in mind. Meanwhile, across town, there's another show going on, and it's free at Dillard University's Cook Hall Theater. It's titled Storyworks. Now, this is going to be starring, among other people, Frederick Mead, Zeb Hollins III, Lisa Shattuck, and Todd D'Amour. And it's
Beth
going to be
Bartley, too, yeah.
And I believe I'd seen Beth Bartley as well, yes. But all of this is it's called Storyworks when lighting the voids, and I think it's sort of an interesting approach to what's going to be going on about theater. And again, people will be able to check that out at Dillard University. And yet, again, another free show, if you will, is coming up at Le Petit. That's Brian Batt's personal piece, very personal piece, titled Dear Mr. Williams. I know you and I both saw it, Peggy, at last year's Tennessee Williams New Orleans Literary Festival. It's really a story of his journey to acceptance and love, and how Tennessee Williams really figured into it. Here he is with Lisa D'Amour and Brian, that's Todd's sister, of course, when it premiered at the festival. And of course, it was directed with Christina Pellegrini Williams. That's Max Williams, the artistic director's wife, who's very talented as a dramaturg. And again, she served as sort of a director. It's being developed even more, and again, it is going to hopefully find its way to Broadway, at least off Broadway, very soon. Do not miss this piece. It's free, 2 nights at Le Petit, the 15th and the 16th. And again, you can't go wrong. Just RSVP to make sure you've got a ticket before you get down there. Make sure that there's one being held for you. Also, going on at the Rivertown Theaters, Diana Alito, that name doesn't maybe sound familiar because she's not local. She is actually on a national tour, and she's doing something called Sisters Easter Catechism. This is called Will My Bunny Go to Heaven? And again, it's going to be stopping off at Rivertown Theaters. It's a real sister act, if you will, and you're going to find it hard to resist. I think it really only plays Friday and Saturday, but it is a national tour, and Rivertown is very fortunate to have a national tour, you know, that they can show. So again, I urge people to go see that. I think it's $32, shows at 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock on the 19th and the 20th.
So this is like a late night catechism?
Exactly,
okay.
Yes. Those of you who know Amanda Aber and other people who have done that,
Yes.
that's what it's going to be like. But it is a, as I said, I guess a call out to all of the Easter trappings and things of that sort that happen. Again, I think it's going to probably be a lot of fun. But again, for those of us who are going to be eating matzah, as I will, may not have as much, may not get all the lines.
Resonate.
You know?
Yeah, okay. Now, though, it's time for our picks. Poppy.
Every year, people ask me, where can I send my kids for cooking camp? And it was just announced, Kids Summer Cooking Camp with Ann Lloyd of Nola Laborde, that she's doing 2 sessions in June. So get them signed up. It's not a lot of places, and everybody seems to want to go.
Okay, Clive.
Well, for me, the book launch would be on Tuesday coming up.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock at Octavia Books.
Are you playing during the Jazz Fest? Are you gonna
Oh,
be playing?
I'm also playing French Quarter Festival and Jazz Fest.
Okay,
and
Jazz
just so you
Fest.
can look for my name, Clive Wilson's, I guess.
Economy Hall, of course.
Oh,
huh?
yes, yes, traditional.
Now, do you play with different bands, or do you
I'm
play
playing with Tommy Sancton on both
At Jazz
occasions
Fest?
and at the French Quarter Festival. That's this coming Saturday, and my band on Sunday,
Yes.
and then the book launch on Tuesday. And then the Jazz Fest is 2 or 3, pretty close, 2 weeks
check
away.
the cubes.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Alan.
Well, you know, I know one thing that I wanted to mention, Poppy. You might remember the World War II Museum has awards, Liberty Awards that they give out every year, and Susan Spicer was just announced as the recipient, along with Gail Benson. So that's fantastic. Also, speaking about musicians, there is a screening of In the Den at the Wolf, Howling Wolf. They have one note at a time. It's a screening of the movie that they did as a benefit for the Musicians Clinic. 8 years in the making. A director from England's been actually involved with it.
Renee Edwards.
And again, they're doing the whole screening now. Apparently it's been finalized because it's been little bit by little bit we've seen more and more and more of it. And of course some of the people who were in it originally filmed sadly have passed on.
Yeah, it's a real labor of love. I know she's been working on it for a while. Thank you, Alan. And my picks tomorrow, of course, is the New Orleans Museum of Art's Egg Hunt and Family Festival. It is in the Sidney and Walter Bestop Sculpture Garden. Visit noma.org to purchase tickets. The 23rd Annual New Orleans International Music Colloquium is this weekend, Saturday night at 7. There will be a lecture on Adelina Patti and Marguerite Piazza, most amazing singers, of course, from the past, and it will be done by Justin Winston. And on Sunday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., there will be a variety of interviews concerning New Orleans jazz musicians of Italian ancestry. This is a free, informal series of talks. It'll be held in the rehearsal hall of the New Leviathan Orchestra. That's at 630 Julia. Call 202-0578 for a complete schedule. And Tulane University is staging a production of Hansel and Gretel. This Sunday at Dixon Hall, visit liberalarts.tulane.edu for tickets. Opera singers Irene Kirikadu and Christina Vial, so wonderful. We love having them here. Will perform Pergolesi's Stabat Mater, a tribute to Mary, this Sunday at Trinity Episcopal Church. Visit opusopera.org for more info. And this year's All-State Sugar Bowl Crescent City Classic is next Saturday a week. The race starts April 20th at 8 a.m. at the Poydras Street near Loyola Avenue. The poster artist for this year is Matt Renard. Those are all little, it's hard to see them, but those are all little tiny bunnies, like they were running a race. Visit ccc10k.com for details. And tonight is WYES's annual gala, including an online auction. You can bid on over 80 items, and this is jewelry from Hope Goldman Meyer. Also, a behind-the-scenes visit to the set of NCIS New Orleans, an ocean suite on the Isle of St. Martin, as well as dinner for 4 with Errol Laborde and me at Andrea's Restaurant. Thank you, Chef Andrea. Go to WYES.org now until 9:30 tonight. Go online. All proceeds benefit WYES. Thank you all so very much, and thank you for being with us. Good night. All right.
This program is sponsored in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support the arts and culture in the greater New Orleans area. And by New Orleans Tourism Marketing Corporation, New Orleans, where stories are created. Support for Steppin Out comes in part from the Kristovich family in honor of Mary Lou and Bill Kristovich.